Emergency vehicles for purposes of monitoring with communication devices. It is 6:01 p.m. and that is the documentation of what is at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, the same identical behavioral pattern. The presence of, again, the presence of what is the directed light. As you can see, it is framing the window. This is directed light, this is engineered light, this is not naturally occurring light, and this is inside of a private space. This is serving monitoring in concert with the people of the state of California who are monitoring with communication devices. And as you see, the state is directing light in both directions, on both east and west walls, up to the ceiling and beneath the window, through the crack in the door, all of which are means whereby the state is engaged in creating light activity. Understand this is static light. The state creates light activity by moving light around. So you're literally looking at the state engaging in constructive presence, remaining present, sounding its sirens, which it did at 6 p.m. The amplified sound of sirens inside of the room is the creation of audible activity, which the state amplifies while it remains physically present inside of the room. Aiming light inside of the room is the presence of the government inside of your private space while it is monitoring you and engaged in corporate invasion of privacy with the people of the state. And here at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, which is the P.O.C., they are engaging in that P.O.C. of corporate invasion of privacy. And as the state is engaged in the creation of light activity on the ceilings, on the side of the walls, in concert with my movement inside of the space. So as I move on the bed, as I get up, as I engage in any activity, the state engaging in what is the movement of light on this wall, on the ceiling, all right, which is not only the monitoring, it's the creation of light activity, making the light dynamic, light which is not naturally occurring. This is light activity with directed light. This is also that which is occurring in concert, which is the absence of coincidence as well. While the people of the state, they are group stalkers maintaining presence in close quarters, keeping noise activity up as well. That is the state acting vicariously while the state is creating light activity inside of the private space. And so I wanted to capture this video because you are looking at what is the environment deliberately maintained while you are in any place, because this is exactly what was occurring inside of the workplace at Country Village Apartments. This is exactly what was occurring while I am walking down any street, and it is the absence of coincidence while you have directed light streaming across the sidewalk and on the roads and on the buildings, while what you have the people of the state of California driving by, maintaining presence in the path, while the state is always stalking via planes, helicopter, police, fire, and ambulance. And so the state amplifying the sound of sirens inside of this room with the presence of directed light, stalking by the people of the state, and as I've already shown, stalking by planes and helicopters directly over the room with the state is amplifying in volume. This is understanding what is the deliberately maintained environment for purposes of monitoring with communication devices. And this is inside of a private space. This is while the state is engaged in and is facilitating what is corporate invasion of privacy. They are all listening to me as I am inside of this private space on the opposite side of the wall, inside of the bathroom, inside of the shower, at the sink, as I go into the microwave, as I'm watching television, which they also use to control an inanimate object. The cooler on the wall, a means of creating audible activity as they are controlling that contrary to the settings that I have it on for purposes of stalking with audible activity. And this is the state, as I've already shown. First of all, this is present 24 hours a day. And also be clear that this is also the means of creating light activity. One of the means of creating light activity inside while the state that is stalking in their emergency vehicles sound their sirens, all right? That is a systematic means of monitoring. And again, that's what is occurring at 6 p.m. This is an example of what the state is engaged in on a ceaseless basis at every single venue, even when, as I've shown, sleeping outdoors, even in my vehicle, in the vehicle of a third party, and even on the grounds of the museum, as I've shown, the state engaged in the same identical behavior pattern, stalking, and stalking with activity and stalking with light. That is P.O.C. This is 2301 South Euclid Avenue, Economy Inn, where federal group stalking and monitoring is ceaselessly underway.